Asking Mr. Prognosticator, the guy who predicted a sweep in the Seattle series. I know this for certain, Dan. Look for the Blazers to play a more aggressive and intelligent game. They are embarrassed that they were out-rebounded by the Jazz yesterday. And we had a question about yesterday's game. Why was Buck Williams benched during crunch time?
Just needed a blow at about the 9-minute mark of the fourth period, and then when I went with a smaller lineup, they went up by about 14, and we were going to try to trap, and so we just decided to go with a smaller lineup to try to trap and see if we could get back in the game. If we would have got it down closer with 3 or 4 minutes, we would have came back with Buck, but you know, with that lineup with Jerome and Cliff and 3 guards, we were much more effective trapping.
There was no dissatisfaction with Buck.
Oh, no, but I thought Buck did a good job. You know, he battled him alone the whole game, and but at that time, we just decided we weren't going to be in a lot of straight man-to-man. We were going to try to trap a lot, so we just went with smaller lineup.
Now, you've probably heard that Rick Adelman is upset because he has to play back-to-back games. Well, he shouldn't be, according to history. The Blazers are 18-3 during back-to-back games, and they are 7-3 during that second game, so they have history going for them this afternoon. And, hey, Ann, you know how come I knew that?
Let's see. What kind of book do you have tucked behind you?
Right here, baby, that's it.
Uh-huh. Boy, right up here, a little empty sometimes, but we'll go with you today. Thanks very much, Ed. And we'll look forward to his report tonight at 11:15 in our special coverage of the Blazers and Jazz playoff.
Following is a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.
Game 1 in the Portland-Utah series found Terry Porter and the Blazers on the attack. Active, aggressive, and emotional, Portland won by 20. Game 2 found Portland hanging on. Even Rick Adelman helped push away John Stockton's last-second shot. Jerome Kersey scored 34. The Blazers won by 2. Yesterday, the Jazz kept their playoff hopes alive. John Stockton had 18 points and 15 assists. Utah frustrated the Blazers' offense and won the battle of the boards decisively. For Portland, only Terry Porter with 28 points stood out in the crowd. Karl Malone led the Jazz to victory, and for the first time in this series, the mailman delivered on time. Today, from the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, Portland, Utah, Game 4.
This is Portland Trailblazer basketball. Tonight's game is brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling really tastes great. By Alaska Airlines, now with even more service to Mexico's beaches. By your Portland Metro Toyota dealers. You want the best, we've got it right here in the Northwest. And by Payless Drugstores, helping you get the most out of life. Executive Producer Director of Trailblazer Basketball, George Wash. Coordinating Producer, J.R. Hellman.
Reinforcements, and with Steve Jones working the national game, we've gone to one of the great names in Trailblazer history. Jim Paxson is our expert analyst. Jim, nice to have you here.
Nice to be here, Pat.
So far, this has been a series matching the 2 teams with the best home court records in the NBA, Portland and Utah, and so far each has held serve on their home floor. What do you see as the key in Game 4?
The key matchup today is the Clyde Drexler-Jeff Malone matchup. Jeff Malone's coming off his 2 best performances in the series. He's been shooting the ball well, getting to the foul line. Clyde's going to have to do a good job there. And Clyde's the player for this team to really step up, the inspirational leader on the floor, to get out there and give them a chance to win today.
After Portland dominated the boards in Game 1, Jerry Sloan challenged his team to stand up and be noticed. They did, out-rebounding Portland in Games 2 and 3. Will Rick Adelman give the same challenge to his team?
Well, I think since yesterday afternoon, that's one of the things Rick's really talked about with the team, is to get out there, establish your game early, and get on the boards.
This is not a game for the timid. Portland, Utah, Game 4.
The road yet in the playoffs. 5-0 at home, but 0 for 3 on the road heading into tonight's Game 4 at Utah against the Jazz. Blazers led the series 2-1 coming into the contest. Played well throughout the game, trying to rebound after a 38% shooting performance in Saturday's loss to Utah. Game 5, Tuesday, back in Portland.
For a triple-double tonight, he passes to Mark Bryant. Blazers up 12, 38-26. A big game for Kevin Duckworth. Clyde involved in this basket for Duck. Portland on a 10-0 run in the second quarter. And the second quarter is the Blazers at their best defensively. Terry Porter knocks it loose. Clyde gives it back. Porter had 20 points tonight, 44-32 Blazers. Duckworth ends up with 30 points and 11 rebounds. He had this three-point play before the half, 57-44 Blazers at the break. Drexler scored 15 points, grabbed 11 boards, and had 10 assists. Cliff Robinson gets this one. Blazers start the fourth quarter with a 14-point lead, but Utah starts with a 17-2 run over the final 12 minutes. Jeff Malone hit back-to-back jumpers. Utah had an 85-84 lead with about 7 minutes to go, and the lead the last 7 minutes changed 18 times. Duckworth canned a clutch jumper with 1:31 to go, 98-97 Portland. 15 seconds later, John Stockton took it to the hoop on a strong drive. He was fouled but missed the free throw. 99-98 Utah. There was 1:16 left to go. Duck hit a pair of free throws. Then Karl Malone hit this jumper with 43 seconds left. Malone had 31 tonight. The Jazz ahead 101-100. Clyde stepped up to hit a big shot with 36 seconds left. The Blazers led 102-101, and that would be enough. Clyde played a great game. His defense at the end makes the difference. He steals the Karl Malone pass, and the Blazers push it up court. Porter is fouled and hits a couple of free throws. The Jazz had one more chance to tie, trailing 104-101.
He didn't take the Stockton for 3. Off the mark. Bailey keeps it alive. 3 seconds left. They've got to get a 3. 1 second. Counts if it goes. It is over.
Blazers win 104-101. One more win will send them back to defend their Western Conference title, and they can wrap it up Tuesday night at Memorial Coliseum after winning tonight at a place they rarely do.
That definitely is for us. When we went in here, boy, it's like a celebration. You got to mark it on your calendar. But, you know, I think the last 3 games we've really played well here, man. We haven't really allowed them to really take us out of our game a little bit. Of course, the second game, the third game here, they definitely out-rebounded us. But the other games, we still played really well and didn't allow them to blow us out like they usually do when we come here.
You know, we came out and said we're going to hold our own and you know, make Karl Malone, for example, work for every score that he had. And I thought tonight he had to work very hard, and he didn't get any easy baskets. And I think that's the difference in yesterday's game and today's game. But hopefully we can come back at home and make them to continue to work and make them beat us coming down the stretch.
Tuesday's game is a 7 o'clock start at the Coliseum.
Here at the Hillsborough Airport tonight, the Blazers arrived here about a half an hour ago. They were all smiles, and the fans went wild. Let's roll the tape. More than 200 Blazer maniacs were at the Hillsborough Airport tonight to show their team how they feel about this win. And you can see they were screaming their lungs out. Jerome Kersey returned the feeling as he and the rest of the Blazers came off the plane. And the big man of the hour, Kevin Duckworth, 00, got a big round of applause, 30 points against the Jazz.
Some nights you just don't. And tonight I had a good feel for the ball.
Even though you were ill?
Yeah, you know, I have a slight flu, but this is the playoffs. No matter what's bothering you, you got to overcome it.
Now the Blazers are looking forward to Tuesday night. They're feeling real good right now, but they're thinking about Tuesday. And I talked to Coach Rick Alderman, and he said that although the Blazers did really well tonight, he wants them to stay focused, he wants them to stay consistent, and then he wants them to think about tonight and play Tuesday like they did tonight. Steve, back to you.
All right, Phyllis, thank you very much.
Triple-double in this series against the Utah Jazz. Scoring is down just a tad from the regular season, but then with the increased defense in the postseason, everybody's numbers drop a little bit, but he is averaging the triple-double, Game 5 in Portland Tuesday.
I'll tell you, I think there was a lot of concern about how they handled the recent game when they blew that big lead against Utah. But tonight, they did blow the lead, but they handled it so much better down the stretch. Of course, we'll get to that a little bit later on.
Let's roll the videotape and take a look at the first half of action in Utah. Now, the Jazz came out early and tried to establish their main man, Karl Malone, inside. He slams it down hard. The game is even up at 6. But the Blazers weren't intimidated. Instead, they kept their poise and played solid basketball. Clyde to Terry, nice play. Portland leads 26-22 after a quarter. Yesterday, the Blazers were terrible in the second quarter. Tonight, they were sensational. The bench adds punch. Cliff Robinson and the foul. Blazers take control. It's that tough defense making the difference. The steal leads transition. It's Mark Bryant finishing business at the other end. An 8-0 run, and Portland leads 38-26. The Blazers never let up. This time, Porter knocks down the pass. It triggers another break. Terry with the hoop. The Blazers' biggest lead in the first half is 17 points. Kevin Duckworth played well the first 24 minutes. 13 points for the Ducks. Blazers lead 57-44 at the half. Really a very solid first half of play for the Blazers.
And I think that was a big concern because yesterday, you remember, we talked to Danny Ainge about that, and he said, hey, we can't keep getting by playing just 6 minutes of intense basketball. Tonight, they came out very intense right off the bat. Good board work, good defense, and that's what this team really thrives on.
Okay, let's roll the second half highlight tape. Take a look at the action now in the third quarter. Jazz make an early run, but the Blazers answer, and it's Duckworth getting the job done. He jams for a 13-point lead. Again, the Blazer defense is strong, and it keys their entire attack. Porter with the steal, Clyde up the Cliff for the slammer. Blazers lead by 14 heading into the final quarter. Everybody's gearing up for Utah's final run, and sure enough, they come back. Thurl Bailey inside. A 9-0 run cuts the margin to 5. And suddenly the Blazers can't do a thing right. Clyde unloads an air ball. Everything they worked for the first 3 quarters goes up in smoke. And when Jeff Malone connects, Jazz complete a 17-2 run, taking an 85-84 lead. From that point on, it's back and forth. Duckworth showed unbelievable poise down the stretch. He regains the lead for Portland, but the Blazers can't keep the Jazz off the board. 3 straight Utah buckets on the offensive rebounds, 95-94 Utah. But again, it's Duckworth, Mr. Clutch down the stretch, 98-97 Blazers. But it's not over yet. Karl Malone with the last of his 31 points on the night, 101-100 Jazz. And then the critical bucket, and it's Clyde Drexler with a shot of the night. This jumper with 36 seconds left gives Portland the lead for good at 102-101. But they still have to make a big stop, and that's exactly what they do. Clyde steps in and steals Malone's pass, leading to 2 Terry Porter free throws. Down 104-101 and time running out. The Jazz get desperate. They need a 3 to force overtime, but Karl Malone's jumper at the horn doesn't go, and the Blazers wrap up game number 4, 104-101. To the scoreboard now, Duckworth with 30 points and 11 rebounds. Clyde picked up the triple-double with 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists. Blazers lead 3-1. They can wrap it up Tuesday in Game 5 at the Coliseum. Yes, they blew the lead down the stretch, but they showed really nice poise when it counted most.
They did, Steve, and I think the important thing to look at is they scored on their last 9 possessions. A very impressive performance at the end. Really a tale of 2 different teams in that fourth quarter. No killer instinct at the start, but at the end when they needed to, they came through.
It's a big win, but winning this game on the road really helps.
Well, yeah, and it puts the onus on the Jazz now to have to win 2 up here in Portland, which is really a tough task.
Okay, stay with us. There is much more coming up on our expanded playoff coverage. Join us when we come back because we'll take you into the Blazer locker room. Jerry Murphy joins us from Salt Lake City next on Channel 2 Sports. Report, I'm Steve Arena with Ron Carlson, and Jerry Murphy now joins us from Salt Lake City for Player Reaction. Good evening, Jerry.
Good evening, Steve. It is quiet right now at the Salt Palace, but about 4 hours ago, they were raising the roof off this place. A fabulous finish between the Trailblazers and the Utah Jazz. Now, in the Blazer locker room after the game, a real sense of relief, but also great feelings of pride at the way they handled the pressure down the stretch. Now, the Jazz were making a furious comeback, but the Blazers kept their composure. They executed very well in the final few moments, and the result is their first road win of the postseason, and that is a major milestone.
Team morale, team confidence is high. There was a lot of flack about our team couldn't win on the road in the playoffs, and this is a great game by our team today.
That's a classic game, and down the fourth period, both teams executed, both teams, wouldn't die, and they wouldn't break. And we finally got the break at the end.
The crowd was in the game. It was loud. A couple of times I didn't even hear no plays called. It was so loud.
So I was glad that we was able to sustain the momentum we had and didn't let down mentally as badly as we did in the last game.
It didn't seem like either team could stop the other team, so it was an exciting game. Obviously, we came out winner, and it was a great game.
It was a slugfest tonight. We felt very good. We established ourselves on the glass, along with the fact that we came out and kept the game very close. I think we have a lot of difficulties when we try to play catch-up basketball for 48 minutes, but tonight we came in and kept the game very close, and we executed out in the stretch.
You just got to come out and show a lot of character when you go back over to Portland and go out there and play and not try to just get the season over with. It's easy to go out and say, hey, let's just go out and play and try not to get hurt so we can have a good summer, but we got to go over there and play. And it'll be a great ball game. I know I'm looking forward to going over there.
And you know the Blazers are looking forward as well. They get their chance to send the Jazz home for an early summer vacation on Tuesday night. And you know, one of the happiest people in the Blazer locker room after the game was Kevin Duckworth. Finally, he has gotten his offensive game untracked, and that is a great sign for the Trailblazers heading into Game 5. Steve?
Oh, you're absolutely right, Jerry. I think also it's common sense to think that the Blazers won't get too excited about this win before Tuesday night.
Well, there's a lot of work yet to be done. Tuesday is not going to be an easy game. They have to be prepared to go 7 games. If that's necessary, they'll come out and play the best they can. The chips will fall where they may, but I think they're going to do it Tuesday night, Steve.
Okay, Jerry, thanks very much for the report. Enjoy your trip back home. And, Ron, let's take a look now at some of the key stats in tonight's ball game. And there are some key numbers, I think, that really tell a pretty nice story. First of all, 18 lead changes in the final 7 minutes. And that, of course, shows that the Blazers continued to come back when they had to.
They really did, and, you know, we were worried about them the other night after Game 2 when they did not respond in the final minutes, and tonight they were right there looking like a championship team.
We always get on their case when they miss their free throws, but tonight they had a pretty good night at the free throw line. They made 26 of 33 free throws.
And the really important note in that is they made 10 of their last 10 when it really counted in crunch time.
Okay, also, Kevin Duckworth scored 10 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. That, of course, is a good sign. As we take a look at the videotape, Kevin with an outstanding game, and I think he really definitely made the difference tonight.
He really did. And an important key was when Mark Eaton got his 5th foul in the fourth quarter, the Jazz were really rolling on a 19-6 run. After he left, Duckworth scores 10 of the next Blazers 14 points. And they really took advantage of that matchup on Mike Brown.
A huge game for Kevin and his teammates, and definitely congratulations go to them. And Ron, thanks for joining us tonight. Get ready for Game 5 Tuesday.
Put on your hard hats. It's going to be a good one.
Exactly. Coming up next, a look at the rest of today.
Thank you very much. The Portland Trailblazers now within a win of clinching the semifinals in the Western Conference against the Utah Jazz, winning 104-101. And now we've got number 6 on the podium. It takes 15 victories to win the NBA crown. The Blazers not exactly halfway there, but, Bill, a very important win on the road. You talked about how critical that was.
3 road wins by the teams in the NBA today. Earl Strom lives. He's gone, but he's not forgotten. He has left his mark on the NBA. It was a very, very strong game for the Portland Trailblazers today. What can you say about Kevin Duckworth and Cliff Robinson and their play down in the pivot? The knock on the Blazers all season has been that they haven't been able to score out of the low post. They did that brilliantly today down the stretch. They really, really played well. Clyde Drexler, the man who we thought would do very well, pretty much of a no-show, but he did make a big jump shot off the pick-and-roll play and came up with the crucial steal late. I also thought that Duckworth really made a ton of great plays down the stretch, dominated the set offense, but really in an incredibly exciting game with 16 lead changes in the last 6 minutes of the game. The Blazers hitting 10 for 10 from the line, a team that doesn't historically shoot free throws very well. They really dominated this game.
And Portland learning how to bang again underneath after in Game 3, letting Utah out-physical them. It was obvious from the get-go that they wanted to send a message.
I thought the tempo for the Blazers was very, very good. John Stockton was hammered all game long. Utah, to me, looked tired. I think the back-to-back games really took its toll on the Utah Jazz, as well as their limited offense. They really only have Stockton and the 2 Malones to get it done offensively. They looked tired today. Mike Brown played very, very well for Utah, but just not enough. And the rest of the guys were pretty much no-shows. Plus, I thought that Karl Malone and John Stockton each made poor plays down the stretch. John Stockton missing the crucial free throw, and then Karl Malone throwing away the key turnover.
And like I say, it's nice to see the Blazers hit their free throws down the stretch when it counted. Of course, 10 for 10, as Bill mentioned, down the stretch. The Blazers win it by 3, 104-101. Now, watching the contest today as well at the Salt Palace was Ed Whalen. He has all the descriptions, the highlights, the blow-by-blow.
It was as rough as hard times. Stockton bounced off Duck's fanny like silly putty. It's to Kersey. Kersey brings it up court and dishes to Porter, who laid it up on the iceberg. 12-10 Blazers right out the chute. The Blazers took it right to the Jazz at the start. Buck Williams on the mailman. 16-14 Portland. Terry Porter shot over Stockton, no good, but then Porter hustled after it, and it was 26-22 Portland after one. Second stanza. And despite being as sick as a dog with the flu, Duck carried the team. 28-22 Blazers. Everything went the Blazers' way. Is that Mark Bryant on the end of the break? Yes. Assist Drexler. 38-26 Portland. Drexler strolls down Broadway. No good. The Duck grabbed it and made it 57-44 Blazers at recess. Third stanza, and we had wild stuff. Stockton tipped it to Bailey. Bailey hit Big Daddy Brown upside his head. Kersey grabbed it to Duckworth. Slam dunk. 66-55 Portland. Then Porter stripped Stockton like a hardwood floor. It's out to Clyde. Over to Cliff Robinson. Slam dunk. 70-57 Portland. Portland led by 14 after 3. Then the wheels fell off. 8:25 left, and the mailman cut it to 84-81. The Jazz outscored Portland 19-2. Jeff Malone, 85-84 Utah. The lead changed like a fashion model, no kidding. 18 times after that, Duck made it 86-85 Portland. Big Daddy Brown pulls up. 89-86 Utah, 4 minutes left. Now a minute's left. Stockton made it. 99-98 Jazz, oh baby. But with 35 seconds left, Drexler hit the jumper, and that made it 102-101 Portland. And with 16 seconds left, Drexler steals Karl Malone's pass. Porter made it a 3-point Blazers lead from the line. The Jazz had one last chance to tie, but Karl Malone missed the 3-point shot. So behind a flu-ridden Kevin Duckworth, Portland whips the Jazz 104-101.
Thanks, man, but hey, I played good. That's all I care about right now. I'm just thrilled, man. I finally got that little monkey off my back.
The Duck flew, didn't he?
Hey, he flew out the way.
We had a little breakdown once again, and I don't know what caused it, but the Jazz really came out strong at the beginning of the fourth period. And luckily we held on and really worked the half-court set really well, and Duckworth just made some big plays down the stretch.
I just think to beat them here in this situation says a lot about our guys. You know, we played a great game. They made 2 strong runs at us, and we never folded. And I think that says, people say we can't play half-court. Maybe we showed tonight that we have a half-court game.
It's not time to put the papers on the floor and call the puppy in the house yet, but you can start whistling. Portland could wrap this baby up next Tuesday in Portland. That would be just fine with the Blazers. They don't want to come back down here. Things just get too wacky. Woo, baby. Ed Whalen, Newsroom 6 Sports, Salt Lake City.
Thanks, Ed. Once again, 104-101. You mentioned Clyde Drexler having not exactly the best of moments earlier in the ball game, but in the final minute comes up with the big plays. I thought we might re-rack the final 2 plays involving Clyde Drexler. You can give us your evaluation of how that went.
I can't believe Clyde had a triple-double. Ed Whalen sure looked like he was having a fun time there. But in those last 2 plays of the game there, Clyde Drexler comes off the screen set by Kevin Duckworth in the classic pick-and-roll situation. Mark Eaton fails to step out. Clyde Drexler wide open hits the jumper. Now, in this screen-to-screener situation, Clyde Drexler on the right side of your screen doesn't see Thurl Bailey slash across the lane, but fortunately he has the cat-quick reflexes and can respond late, slide in there and get the big steal, save himself tremendous embarrassment because Thurl Bailey had a wide-open dunk.
It would not have been a fun trip on Blazer 1 had they lost that contest, too. But once again, they're keeping the fans in their seats until the final moment.
It was a tremendous game today. It was the best game I've ever seen Kevin Duckworth play. He's going to need to continue that type of performance if the Blazers are going to continue on their march toward the championship.
Okay, of course, Game 5 will be Tuesday night in Portland. When we come back, Bill will be at the chalkboard outlining the key plays from today's game. But first, a look at the statistics from Game 4. Clicks a little better today, and the Utah Jazz, they come up with yet another wrinkle trying to score against Portland.
The Blazers had by far their best set offensive game, but really when they play set offense, they give it to one guy who's hot, and they just let him go. That was Kevin Duckworth in the low post tonight. Utah, on the other hand, they were running a very familiar play that's run by all teams around the league called screen the screener. And in this situation, John Stockton will dribble the ball down to the corner here. He'll have his shooter, Jeff Malone, down on this post here. He can always post up, of course. The ball is here with John Stockton. And then the big man, Karl Malone, is over here. And you also have a big screener up here, a Mark Eaton, a Thurl Bailey, or a Mike Brown in this situation. So in this situation, Jeff Malone will come across and set the big cross screen. Karl Malone will work off and come and try to get into a post-up situation here for the big man. Of course, if John Stockton can feed Malone in the post, great. But really what this play is set up to do is after the guard sets this screen here in the paint, there's going to be a big down screen here, and the shooter will come around here, and the pass can come here for the shot, and then, of course, always dump it down. This is a very, very effective play. You also have a weak side man over there. Lots of action, lots of players involved. Utah ran it to perfection today. Stockton, of course, handles the ball all the time. The cross screen by Malone, who then comes off the down screen. Again, Stockton with the ball. Keep your eye on Mark Eaton, who will come down with a very big down screen right underneath the basket. Thurl Bailey curls around the ball. Lots of weak side action in this offensive set. Blue Edwards knocking down the jumper. As always, Stockton, Karl Malone steps out. Thurl Bailey slides behind after stepping around for the easy slam dunk. There's Jeff Malone around the down screen. Back to Karl Malone. Thurl Bailey slides in, and Clyde Drexler makes the great steal that saves the game for the Trailblazers.
I know you were going nutso during the game, though, about all the offensive penetration that the two teams were allowing each other.
I think it's ridiculous when you watch these basketball games, and all these players who are right-handed. Every player in this series is right-handed except for Eaton, who I'm not even sure I consider him a player, and he's a big guy out there. But they're all driving to their right every time. That's the first thing you learn on defense. Don't let your man dribble to a strong hand. Cliff Robinson, Karl Malone, John Stockton, they were all just driving the lane with their right hand tonight. You got to eliminate that.
All right, we'll see what happens on Tuesday on that one. Let's take a moment and check the other action today in the NBA. As Bill mentioned, the road teams came out on top. Horace Grant had 22 points and 11 rebounds to lead the Bulls to just one game away from the clincher. Michael Jordan with 25. The Los Angeles Lakers are also now just one game away from advancing. Sam Perkins led the Laker effort with 27 points. If the Lakers win their next game, it would be their 9th appearance in the Western Conference Finals in the last 10 years. Time now to see what's on schedule in upcoming action in the NBA. Anybody betting the farm that the Utah Jazz are going to come back here and steal one from Portland on Tuesday?
Anything could happen, Rick. This is the NBA, and we've seen 2 games go right down to the buzzer. The Jazz have failed both times. But for the Portland Trailblazers to win on Tuesday night, they really have to get good ball movement. That's when they play their best, when that interior passing is really happening. Plus, they have to keep wearing down John Stockton. He took a tremendous beating today. I would concentrate on making sure that strategy continues.
Looked like he was in a prize fight for a while.
He's very tired, very beat up. Don't give him a chance to regroup. Plus, you want to keep exploiting Mark Eaton's weaknesses. He is so immobile out on the basketball court that you want to just keep swinging the ball with a good ball movement. Plus, he is so foul-prone because he has no respect for the position concept of defense, and he always tries to use his height rather than his ability to move. Duckworth is able to get the position that he wants. For Utah, they have to hope that Portland plays terrible. That's really the only time that they've played well in this series, is when the Trailblazers have looked like a very bad basketball team. They have shot horribly, right around 40% the entire series. They have to shoot well above that if they're going to win. They have to control the tempo, keep it in a half-court game. Don't let the Trailblazers get running. Most importantly, they've got to get good clutch play. They've had the 2 breakdowns at the end of the game, missing the key shots, turning the ball over. They need a rain delay.
Or the Coliseum roof to cave in, or the Blazers get locked in their hotel room. I mean, they've got to feel confident, Portland, now that they're going to come back here and get on to the next series.
The pulse and the excitement, the atmosphere in the Memorial Coliseum should be just red hot on Tuesday night. It's really going to be an exciting atmosphere in there. You want to just make it so loud that just Utah comes out and just crumbles, and the Blazers get their running game going. Kersey up and down, slam dunking. Drexler hitting the jumper. Duckworth playing great.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we're going to be with you at 11:30 Tuesday for a complete wrap-up. By the way, Mother's Day, did you call Mom?
Sure, I've been on the road so much I call my mom every day, even on Mother's Day.
Good deal. That's it. The Blazers win it. They take a 3-1 lead in the series. Back to the newsroom, Ken and Ann.